Have you ever noticed that sometimes love doesn't end with a fight? It doesn't end with shouting. It doesn't end with doors slamming. It doesn't end with a definitive "it's over." Love, many times, ends in silence, with the absence of questions, with the lack of interest, with routine replacing connection. And the most frightening part is that there is almost never a specific moment that marks the end. There is only a slow, steady, almost invisible distance, like two people who share the same roof, the same bed, the same history, but no longer share the same inner world. Today, you're going to understand why so many women, after decades of marriage, begin to emotionally disconnect, even while remaining physically present beside their husbands. And before you think this is about infidelity or coldness, it's not. Most of the time, it's not even about a lack of love. It's exhaustion, it's accumulation, it's invisibility, it's feeling alone while accompanied. And maybe, as you listen to this, you're beginning to recognize signs you hadn't noticed before. For many years, a woman often becomes the emotional center of the family. She organizes birthdays. She remembers important dates. She maintains family relationships. She notices when a child seems off. She senses when her husband is worried. She emotionally supports everyone around her. She anticipates problems. She manages conflicts. She holds everything together when life feels like it's falling apart. But almost no one asks how she truly feels. Almost no one notices when she begins to empty inside. And the problem isn't doing it out of love. The problem is doing it alone for decades. There comes a point when the exhaustion is no longer physical, it becomes emotional. She realizes she has spent her entire life being strong, strong when she was tired, strong when she was hurt, strong when she wanted to give up, and a quiet question begins to rise. Who takes care of me? That is the first breaking point. It's not explosive. It's internal. It's a small emotional closure that happens for self-preservation, because no one can give forever without at some point needing to receive. In the beginning of marriage, there was curiosity, there was discovery, there was genuine interest, long conversations, shared plans, dreams built together. But over time, routine takes control. Conversations revolve around bills, appointments, practical problems, responsibilities, and emotional space begins to shrink. She talks about how she feels. He responds with solutions. She shares something that bothered her. He minimizes it to avoid conflict. The intention may not be bad, but the effect is devastating. Because when a woman feels unheard, she begins to speak less. And when she speaks less, she begins to feel less connected. Loneliness inside a marriage is one of the hardest pains to explain, because from the outside, everything looks normal. But inside, something no longer beats the same way. Then come the small details. It's not major betrayals that destroy long marriages. It's the repeated small neglects, the help that never comes, the initiative that never starts with him, the emotional load that remains in the same hands. She finds herself managing everything: the house, the family, the social commitments, the problems. Even when the children grow up, even when life slows down, she still feels like she carries more than she should. That doesn't create an explosion. It creates accumulation. And accumulation turns into resentment, and unspoken resentment turns into distance. As the years pass, many women experience a quiet awakening. They begin to look at themselves, at their desires, at their forgotten dreams, at their identity beyond being a wife or mother. They want to learn something new, travel, change their routine, rediscover who they are. But they don't always find partnership in this stage. If the husband remains comfortable, resistant to change, emotionally unavailable, she feels like she's growing alone. And growing alone inside a marriage hurts, because marriage was meant to be walked together. When one evolves and the other stands still, the distance grows. even under the same roof. Another silent factor is intimacy. And this isn't just about physical closeness. It's about connection, about presence, about looking into someone's eyes and feeling chosen. When a woman stops feeling chosen, she begins to disconnect, not out of revenge, but out of self-protection. Because no one can feel invisible forever without building emotional armor. Then comes retirement, a phase that should bring lightness. But for many couples, it exposes everything that was ignored for years. Suddenly, they're together all day. No distractions, no external routines masking the emotional distance. And many men enter this phase without a clear purpose, without hobbies, without new goals, without emotional adaptation, and without realizing it, they transfer to their wives the responsibility of filling that void. But she has already spent decades filling voids. Now she wants space, silence, autonomy, peace. If she doesn't find that within the relationship, she begins to find it within herself. And then comes the deepest reflection of all. Time is passing, friends leave, illness appears, the mirror tells the truth, and she begins to ask, how many years do I have left? Do I want to spend them just surviving? Or do I want to truly live? After a certain age, many women no longer want war, they want peace. And if they don't find peace in the marriage, they learn to create it internally. The great truth is that most of the time, she didn't stop loving. She stopped feeling loved. And there is a profound difference between those two things. Love doesn't die suddenly. It weakens in silence, in conversations that never happened, in gestures that disappeared, in words that were never spoken. But just as it weakens slowly, it can also be rebuilt slowly. With listening, with presence, with humility. Marriage doesn't sustain itself automatically. It requires daily intention, choosing to look at the person beside you and recognize they've changed, asking again, how are you really? What do you miss? What can we still build together? As long as there is honest dialogue, there is still hope. But when silence becomes permanent, disconnection becomes final. Before you leave, I want to ask you something sincerely. Are you still nurturing love every day, or are you just coexisting out of habit? If this message made you reflect, write in the comments. Do you believe love can be reignited after many years, or are some distances irreversible? If this message touched you in any way, leave a like. And if you want to keep receiving deep, real and transformative content about relationships and emotional maturity, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, don't let silence destroy what could still be rebuilt.